Hello, peace and blessings. I'm Jovhannah, the Spiritual Love Healer, and welcome to the October 2020 Healing Circle. This is our new moon clearing circles for single mothers. So I'm extremely grateful that you decided to join me, to have a little bit of relaxing music playing in the background. And I have my notes right here. So make sure I cover everything that I wanted to touch on this evening. So tonight's topic is all about releasing old stories. And when I talk about stories, I'm talking about those things that we continue to tell ourselves, those stories that we tell ourselves that we come to believe and we adopt as the truth about ourselves, the truth about who we are, because we keep telling it and retelling it and telling it to ourselves and to people that we meet, and we express it energetically. And so we feel like that is the truth of who we are. So we're going to be talking about how to, talking about old stories, how to release those old stories. I'm going to be pulling some cards and also walking you through an healing exercise to help you release your old story. So before we get started, I just want to share some information with you and introduce myself. So welcome to the Healing Circle. This is a sacred space that is judgment-free. There's no judgment here. This is a sacred space. It is full of love, full of healing, full of peace, all of those beautiful, beautiful things that we need in our lives. So I want you to keep that in mind. And I am your circle leader. I'm Jovhannah, the Spiritual Love Healer. And this is kind of like our first circle since I've brought these healing circles back. I've been running healing circles for several years now and kind of took a pause because my work has shifted to focus solely on single mothers. So I want to introduce myself a little bit. So I'm Jovhannah Tisdale. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I am the single mother of two girls. My girls are 17 and 5. Right now I do live in Raleigh, but I am hoping to relocate soon. My dream is to move to Costa Rica, but right now I just desire strongly to be by the beach. So that is what I'm working on. I need some of that beach life for myself. Some of the things that I've been through, like I've overcome domestic violence, depression, anxiety, sexual assault, being jobless, being homeless. I've gone through it all. I have been through a lot in my years on this earth, and all of the things that I have experienced really helped me to evolve and to become the woman that I am today. And I'm continuing to grow and evolve to reach higher levels of being and existing in this world where I feel like I'm truly aligned with my calling and my soul purpose. So I am a healer. I have always been a healer. I've always had spiritual gifts, even though if I wasn't necessarily acting on them. In 2018, it's when I became a full-time business owner, leaving corporate America. And since I have been integrating my work into the world in ways. Initially, I started out working with women where we were kind of focusing on self-love, healing from toxic relationships. And I started noticing that most of the people that were coming to me for support, they were either single mothers or they were the children of a broken family or single mother. And when I first started my business, that was my goal, like to work with single moms, but for some reason I didn't do that. And so I came back full circle this year and it's like, no, this is what you're supposed to do. So here I am. All of the things that I've been through in my life are what led me to create a business, supporting women, especially single mothers, using my gifts, my skills and experiences. So I am a spiritual healer. I'm also a master life coach, a spiritual life coach, a Reiki practitioner. I am certified in a variety of energy healing techniques, including EFT tapping. I work a lot with essential oils, crystals, all of the things. I integrate them all into the work that I do because I find it provides the most support on a variety of levels, which maximizes transformation. So, I like to think of myself as your fairy godmother. I am here to help you get your ever after, your abundantly ever after, and really help you get to a place where you're able to heal and truly focus on creating the life that you desire and deserve. So one of the ways that I do that is by hosting these monthly healing circles. They are free, they're open to public, as long as you're a single mother, of course. I would like to keep this area reserved for us because I notice there's a lot of judgment that is passed from others who are not in our shoes or not in our situations, and even from some who are. So I just want to make sure that this is a safe and sacred space. So again, thank you so much for joining me. And this is one of my crystals. This was actually a birthday present. My birthday was recently, and it's one of my favorite crystals. It's labradorite, and it's also known as the shaman stone or the healer's stone. And it's very healing, protective, and also is stone of transformation, which really aligns with the work that I do. So this is my favorite. I have a bunch of labradorite. So on these healing circles, they're monthly and they do take place on the new moon or around the new moon. Why I chose the new moon is because that is the time in the moon cycle where it's about releasing and clearing. And so I want to help you get to a space where you're able to release and clear things out so that you can call in the things that you wish to manifest in your life. So this is just one way that I'm able to support you. I do have other opportunities and things available if you want to go deeper. I do have a community where we have more of these healing circles. We do some trainings inside of the community. I also do coaching calls so we can actually talk and you can share what you're working on and get laser coaching, in addition to some exclusive resources and things like that. So that is coming really soon and I'm very excited about it. So here is about shifting your energy. It's about connection and giving us the opportunity to really talk about things that matter to us, whether it's about parenting, whether it's about relationships, whether it's about self-care, self-love, whatever it is in life that you're dealing with. This is a space where we can talk about it and do some healing work or journaling exercises around that. So I do ask that, anything that you hear within this circle is held in strict confidence. It is indeed sacred. So that means please respect each of us here in the circle and our privacy. These are effective because there's a level of honesty and there's also a level of confidentiality. So you should feel safe coming in and sharing whatever you have going on, because that is when the true healing and transformation takes place, is in being able to share, being able to give, and then being able to receive what you need out of this circle. So my intention for today is to help you recognize the old stories that you're telling yourself so that you can work on releasing them or replacing them with something that truly serves and supports you. So I'm going to go ahead and pull, I'm going to go ahead and pull from this deck. This is my Manifesting deck. It is one of my favorites, just to see what intention, let's see, what intention is being set here tonight. What intention is being set here tonight? And maybe at the end of the call, I'll do a reading as well to kind of help. Let's see, what is the intention being set tonight around releasing old stories? There we go. What's the intention being set tonight around releasing old stories? Okay, there's a lot that wants to come out of the cards. There's a lot of messages that want to come forward. Here we go. Receiving. Freya. This is Goddess Freya. She's all about receiving. This is the conception stage. And this is saying, I receive all blessings. Giving and receiving are the cycle of life. Beautiful message for tonight's call, because in order to receive healing, you have to give. And that's kind of what I was just talking about, feeling comfortable, being able to share and say what's happening with you so that you can get the support that you need while you're on the call. And also knowing that you can give up that old story and create something new. So we know that conception is the time before, or around the time when fertilization is taking place. It's not the actual gestation or the actual birth stage, but during conception, you're forming the ideas. So I want you to start forming the ideas that it's okay for you to receive a new story, that it's okay for you to receive healing, that it's okay for you to receive support and connection in this healing circle. All right. So let me check and see if there are any new people getting in. Nope, we are all good. So let's go ahead and move forward. And I'm going to keep Freya out in case she has something else to say to us. But be in a state of mind, and let me go ahead and pause the music, where you are okay with receiving something new. We hold on to things. And when we hold on to things, it does not allow for us to welcome something new in. Think about it, like if your closet is filled to the max with clothes that you're not even wearing, you don't have anywhere else to put new clothes. In order to do that, you have to go through, what am I keeping? What am I not? Make space for something new. The same way in our minds, in our hearts, in our spirit, if we're walking around carrying old stories, old habits, old stuff, it's not allowing anything new to come in. So if you've been telling yourself for the longest time, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, or whatever it is, you start to believe that because you're continuing to receive that into your mind, into your spirit, into your heart. So be open to receiving new ideas, new thoughts about yourself, new stories, new habits that truly support who you are, who you're becoming, not who you were. Okay. So I want to do a quick connection exercise since we've already set the expectations, you've gotten to know me, and you understand the intention of tonight's session. So I want you to step fully into this circle with the intention of having an open heart and mind to receive. So let's take a moment to really connect within our heart space. You can close your eyes. I like to place both hands over my heart. And we're going to take 3 slow, deep breaths. Let's breathe in. Breathing out. Let's breathe in. And one more. So as you're breathing in, I want you to see this beautiful pink light radiating from your heart. And then I want you to see that pink light expand around your body. So now you are encapsulated in this beautiful pink light of love, of healing, of connection. And I just want you to sit there and breathe a few more breaths and just feel that energy, feel the safety, feel the love and the support, the warmth that's radiating all around you as you are enclosed in this bubble of pink love, of pink healing energy. And slowly open your eyes and know that you are loved, and within this space, you are loved. All right. So let's move into tonight's topic, which I'm very excited about. So as you know, we are moving into the final months of 2020. So I really wanted to be of support in helping you get ready for the for the coming year. And so tonight we're talking about releasing old stories. Excuse me. Then in November, we are talking about stepping into gratitude. And in December, we're doing a 2020 release. And I did this exercise before and it was super powerful. So I love doing that. So Definitely, if you can, join me for the other 2 healing circles for this year, and I've got some amazing things lined up for 2021. You can come back. I do record these sessions, and they will be inside of the Healing Single Mothers community. So if you want to get access to the recordings, you can join me there, and you can come back to these at any time to receive the message, to receive the healing, and to go back through the exercises, because they are indeed very powerful and energy shifting. So I apologize. I had a few client calls. I've been talking a lot today, and so it seems like I am releasing energy as I speak through the form of yawn. So I do apologize. I'm not tired. It's just, it is what it is. So tonight we are talking about the stories that you're telling yourself and how to release them. So if you need to grab a notebook and a pen, you might want to take notes and jot some things down. So if you need a couple seconds, go ahead and grab that. And I have a notebook. Oh, there it is. I'm going to grab my notebook. Yes. Yes. Okay. In case anything comes up that I need to remember. I'm thinking about doing another book club. This is my devotional until today that I read. I love it. I love this book. I've had it for a very long time and it's kind of falling apart, but I treasure it. Okay. I'm getting off track just a little bit. So, all right. I hope you've got everything that you need. So let's get into it. So the things that you tell yourself are the things that you believe about yourself and about your life. Whew. The things that you tell yourself are what you believe about yourself and about your life. How many times have you caught yourself like walking by the mirror and said, oh my God, I look so fat? Or, oh, I wish I was prettier. Or I don't have enough money. Or God, I hate my life. The things that you say, you believe about yourself. And that is why speaking life, speaking love, affirmations are so important. We're literally programming our minds every day with the words that we say, the things that we see and consume on TV, social media, in magazines, in music. I don't listen to a lot of music. There are a few artists, especially now, in what kind of music comes out now. There are very few artists that I listen to. Like I love Jhené Aiko. I love her music. India Arie. I like music that feeds my soul and nurtures my mind. Sometimes I want to get with a little trap music or whatever, but most of the time I can't take it. I don't need this negativity in my life, because even though it's a song and it's fun and it's fun, it's entertainment, I just don't want that type of energy around me. I don't want to absorb that stuff for a long period of time, because it doesn't make me feel good most of the time. And so I'm very mindful about the things that I watch on TV, the things that I listen to. I don't watch the news. I have like Netflix and Hulu, and that's it. And I'm even considering getting rid of my television. Even with social media, I try to limit it. So I have my personal phone and I have my work phone. I try to keep all social media apps on my work phone. So that way I'm not on the scroll. I'm not, just wasting time through social media. Also, the accounts that I follow are ones that inspire me. I like plants, so I follow a lot of plant accounts. I follow other healers, things that make me feel good. I follow those things. Like animals, I love looking at animals. And I follow a lot of travel accounts as well, because I like to travel and that's one of my goals. So I want to see things that inspire me and make me feel good, not a whole bunch of ratchet, disrespectful, or hurtful, or triggering trauma type of stuff. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it. Oftentimes, we are hard enough on ourselves without getting beat up through the things that we're seeing through social media, where we think, oh my God, I'm a horrible person because this meme said so. Or, oh my gosh, I've been scrolling for 30 minutes looking at this person's life and their life looks so amazing and mine looks so horrible. We don't need that type of energy. And if you are struggling where you feel like you get a little anxious or fearful or sad about your life on social media, I challenge you to take a pause and detox from social media. I promise you the world will not fall apart if you step away from social media. You have to get back into a space where you are in control of your mind, where you know who you are, you know what you stand for, and scrolling through social media is not going to change how you feel about yourself. A lot of people struggle with that. Like, that's a thing. And we know that mental health issues are rising. And I think it's in part because we get on social media and we're judging ourselves in comparison to someone else, when in reality, we don't even really know what's going on in that person's life. All we know is they took a pretty picture and it looked real good. It looks like they're happy, but we don't know. We don't ever know. And that's why it's so important to focus on you. What are you doing? What are you saying? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? And what are you believing about you? So there are some questions that I want you to consider. What were you told about yourself as a child? And what of those things are you still holding on to today? One of the things, like, everybody used to call me crybaby when I was little. I was very sensitive. I was an intuitive, empathic child who could sense things and see things. So you're right, I was sensitive. But back then, I didn't really know what the cause was. I wasn't like, oh, I'm just an empath. I'm intuitive, and that is why I am sensitive. No, I was a kid. So it made me feel weak and needy and like something was wrong with me. So I learned that crying was a bad thing. And I learned to, like, be very stoic. And that did not serve me well, because it taught me to take abuse, essentially, to take what was going on around me and not react to it. So it kind of desensitized me in a way that hurt me. So think about what were you told about yourself as a child, and what of those things are you still holding on to that maybe has negatively impacted you in some way? And then when you became a single mom, what were you told about yourself then? I heard it all. Like, nobody's going to love you. You ruined your life. Yeah, like the list goes on and on and on. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this, because there's so much trauma, shame, and guilt around single mothers. And it makes me think about that book, The Scarlet Letter, where it's like, oh, you've got this stamp on you, this is failure or screw up or whore or this or that. And none of that is true. So that's another thing to consider is, when you became a single mom, what were you told about yourself, whether it came from yourself or whether it came from someone in your life? And then I want you to think about, what stories are you telling yourself now? And are they even true? Or is it just something you are telling yourself on repeat? So, like, back to my crybaby story. Was I a crybaby? Yes. Was crying a bad thing? No. But I felt like crying was a bad thing because the context and the connotation that it was said in. So my story then became, crying is bad, don't cry. So even when something bad or hurtful was happening to me, hold it in, don't cry. You're not no crybaby. Don't react. Just, okay, like, that was the story. Did that serve me well? No. Do I tell myself that story now? No. Do I cry? I am still sensitive. I am still empathic. And sometimes when I watch a movie, I will tear up, like, I can't believe this is happening. And I know that it's good. Crying is good. It's cleansing. It's a human trait. That's the other thing. Everybody cries or should cry, right? Crying is natural and it is normal, a normal human response. There should be no trauma around crying and showing emotion or feeling. Right, right. So that was one of my stories. And so I'm going to share this with you and go a little deeper so you can kind of see how this flows, right? So this one's a little more challenging. Let me grab a sip of water. Oh, that's so refreshing. So as an adult, one of the things that I would tell myself is I was broken. This was back in my early 20s, right after I had my daughter. I was 20 when I had my oldest. And I think I was about, oops, sorry about that. Ignore. Let me turn this off so that I don't get sidetracked. Okay. So what was I saying? I was about 20, 21 when her father started being abusive towards me. And it started off very, well, actually, if I think about it, it started right after I had her, but it didn't escalate into physical abuse until like we moved in together, maybe about 6 to 9 months later. Anyway, so at the time, I was in an abusive relationship, not fun at all. And when I finally left that relationship, which I stayed in a lot longer than I should have because I was, don't cry. Crying is bad. What are you crying for? Get your shit together. Anyways, another story. I thought I was broken. I was damaged. I was a victim. I was abused. I was wounded. I was weak. I'm the victim of abuse. I was abused, which was true. That was real, right? I was abused. I was a victim of abuse. Those are real, very real things that happen. But telling that story constantly and repeatedly kept me in that state of mind where I felt disempowered, where I felt weak, where I did feel broken, where I still felt the abuse actively. Like it wasn't, I was still living in that pain. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. So I was caught up in the energy of that, of those past experiences, and would do like, okay, well, I don't want to date because I was abused. I don't trust people because I was abused. I don't like going out because I was abused. I was abused, became my story. It became an excuse. It was a crutch. And it was something that I was clinging to because that's what I was identifying myself as. So that's how I was showing up in the world. Like, oh, woe is me. Woe is me. Woe is me. And there's nothing wrong with that because I think everyone has, healing is a process, it's a journey. So if you go through something traumatic, you will be in that state where you're like identifying with the pain, with the trauma that you went through. So I'm not saying that it's bad. What I'm saying is that it keeps you in that energy. So I wasn't living fully because I was telling myself that story that I was abused and this was a limit. So I couldn't do certain things and I had to feel a certain way. I didn't want to be seen. I was afraid, still walking in fear, walking on eggshells because I was abused. So that allowed me, telling myself that story over and over and over, allowed me to carry that trauma with me much longer than I needed to. I didn't really talk about it either because I didn't want my daughter to think ill of her father as well. So that was another reason why I held on to that and not really spoke out about it. Now that she is in college, I, give myself permission to share the story openly because I need to. I need to, because my story can save someone else. So the first time I actually shared it publicly, I was part of a virtual conference. I think this was in 2017, maybe. And like, I've talked about it like with friends and people that I trust, but to share it publicly, like, no. So during this virtual conference, we were supposed to be talking about relationships and self-love. Got on, like we talked about it before, like, oh, we're going to talk about this. And we kind of rehearsed it a little, like to see how we were going to flow. Did we need a scripting, or were we just good? And we were good, just having conversation. So when I got on that day, the host threw me for a loop and decided that we were going to talk about my very private story. The one that I had not opened up about on any of my social media platforms in this manner. It was a very intimate discussion. And I was like, this, like, but I couldn't back out. Like, I was already in there, we were rolling, and it was like, all right, like, go with it. And I went with it because as a healer, I knew this was needed. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it like that, but that was the what I needed to really shift things for myself in different ways. So I didn't appreciate how she did it. I think that was the thing. Like, I wasn't prepared, but it was very raw in the way that it was like off the cuff. Like, I can't believe she got me out here like this. And at first it was a little traumatizing, but I was like, no, like this was part of my healing. And I probably maybe never would have spoken up about it and started talking about it had she not pulled it out of me. So I guess in deep gratitude to she. So with me talking about the story and telling the intimate details of being kicked like a dog and like just all of these things, and numbing myself with alcohol because I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't feel my feelings because being a crybaby was bad. So we got to numb them things, right? So I realized that I was no longer the victim of abuse, but I was a survivor. I wasn't an abuse victim. That was a situation, but it did not define me. So I started shifting the story. Like, I'm not a victim of abuse. I experienced it, but I'm not a victim because I can stand in my own power. And now I am empowered because I can talk about it. I don't have the shame around it because I can talk about it. I don't have to hide behind it or try to protect my abuser's image because I don't owe them anything. This is my story and I can own it however I want to own it. And I don't want to own it as a victim. And so now that's definitely not my story. I'm not a victim. I'm not broken. I'm not wounded. I'm not damaged. I'm healed. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm whole and complete within myself. I'm out here living my abundantly ever after, working on my next level of abundantly ever after, because it's levels to it. But, you know, and I'm a testimony. I am a testimony to others who might not think healing is possible, who might not know that it's possible to overcome all the stuff that I've overcome. So I'm not a victim. It shifts things when you stop telling yourself a story that keeps you in a box, that limits you, that prevents you from expanding to your fullest potential, that makes you feel small instead of grand as God created you to be. So the energy shifted. A lot of time we don't share our stories because we feel ashamed. We feel like, oh my God, nobody's going to understand me. I swear I was the only one experiencing abuse and dealing with all the other stuff that I was going on with. And it wasn't until I started talking to other people and seeing they were like, oh yeah, I've been through that too, or I'm dealing with that too. And I'm like, why do we all have the same story? And in fact, most of the single mothers that I meet, we all shared a similar story where we were abused by our partner. So in talking about it, we can see it and hear the story differently versus when we're just sitting with ourselves and we're like, girl, you are trash. Your whole life is ruined. What are you doing? you're broke, nobody cares about you, versus when you say that in an open space with other people and they're like, man, I would feel that way too, like when I'm having a bad day, but girl, look at you, you're great. You're doing so well, your family's beautiful. So we can see you for you, but you sometimes can't see your greatness because the stories that you're telling yourself. That is why these women's circles, like the healing circle, is so important, because you get to connect with other people who can see your light when you cannot see it and reflect it back to you. So now you're like taking in this energy and you're like, I am worth something. I'm amazing. I'm doing great considering everything that's happened this year, everything that I've been through in my life. I am alive, and that is a blessing. So you start to get energy, positive energy that uplifts you versus being stuck in the stories that you've been telling yourself that don't serve you. That is why releasing or rewriting these old stories are so important. If you continue to tell yourself that you're struggling, you're struggling, you're struggling, you're going to believe that you're struggling. You're going to start to see evidence of struggle in your life, because what you say is what becomes true. What you focus on, where your attention goes, energy flows. If you're focusing on struggle, the universe or God or spirit or goddess, whatever your faith may be, is like, oh, she just ordered some struggle. Order up. It's like, oh, wait, debt, broken heart, sadness, horrible boss. What else you want? It's taking your order. So when you start to say, I am abundant, I am happy, I am beautiful, I am grateful, I am so glad to be alive, I love my life, my family, like life is good, I am successful. They're like, oh, she wants some success, love, abundance. Okay, order up. So what story do you want to fulfill? That is the question that you have to ask yourself. Do you want to keep telling yourself the same story, or are you ready for a new story? And the beautiful thing is that you are in control of the stories that you create. A lot of times we have our mind on autopilot where we're not even actively thinking. Think about, like, on your commute to work, have you ever just been driving and then you're at work and you don't even remember getting there, but you know you got there because you're alive and you're safe, you parked your car, but you're like, damn, how did that autopilot? If you have that same record playing in your mind that is telling you that you're a single mom, nobody's gonna love you, you gotta struggle, you gotta hustle, you gotta work hard, you gotta do all these things, and it's so hard, and you're broken and you're damaged and ugly and all of these things, it's playing on autopilot in the back of your mind, whether or not you know it. And that's why we have to get back in the driver's seat and say, wait, did I just say that I was ugly? What? No, I'm beautiful. Struggle. I'm not struggling. I'm doing good, and I'm gonna do better. And then when you get to better, you can say, whoa, thank God I'm doing better. I want to do even better. And when you're doing even better, I want to do fantastic. And when you're doing fantastic, I want to do phenomenal. And you just keep building. You keep building level after level until you achieve the goal, until you achieve the dream, the vision, whatever. You keep building, but you have to appreciate the now and create a story that supports you in the now as you're growing to that better, as you're growing to that excellent, to excel your life. Okay? So now what I want you to do is I want you to think about your story and call forward the feeling that it brings. And I want to do a clearing session. So you can share your story if you want. You can use the chat box if you want to unmute, whatever. And remember that this is a safe space for you. So to get the most out of the call, it's very vital that you participate, that you share, that you show up. So I'm going to put some music on since this is a private situation. Some vibes. We got some vibes. Okay. Before I get started, I'm going to pull a goddess guidance card. Oops, sorry. I knocked over my buddy there. Okay. So I want to say a prayer, and you can say a prayer along with me. I'm just going to say a general prayer as we are going to revisit some of these deep emotions. If it gets too much, you can pause. If it gets too much, you can write it down. But know that as we go through this exercise, we are going to be clearing and releasing some things, okay? So I'm just going to pull a goddess guidance card to impart some wisdom on you before we begin this journey together. Oh, this is beautiful. This is Goddess Maeve. She is the goddess of cycles and rhythms. Oh, cycles and rhythms. Honor the cycles of your body, energy levels, and emotions. It's time. It's time. If that story doesn't feel good in your body, if it makes your energy feel low, if it stirs your emotions in the wrong direction, it is time to let it go. It's outlived its usefulness. This is the cycle of completion for those old stories. This is the cycle of completions. It's time to go into a new cycle and step into a new rhythm, okay? So I think that is very beautiful. And here she is dancing on what looks to be like almost like iced over lake. I think that's very beautiful in itself. And her wand, she's making the ice. You have the power to put that story on pause, to freeze it, to crack it, to break it up, and to release it. We have to pay attention to our cycles. How do things make us feel? How does it affect us energetically? Do you feel tired? Does it make you upset? Do you get an ache or a twinge in your stomach? You have to know how things make you feel, because that's going to let you know when it's time to replace it. You don't have to sit in a story or a tale or a belief. And I just want to do a quick, I can't, I want to do a picture, y'all, hold on. Or in a belief that does not serve you. Like, that's not okay. There we go. So yeah, that's Goddess Maeve. I like that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do this exercise, get this prayer going, and then we're gonna go through this clearing exercise. So let me see where we are time-wise. Okay, we got it, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. Spirit, angels, and ancestors, I ask that you join us today in circle to bring forth a release and clearing away of these stories that no longer serve us. Help guide our steps towards healing and creating a new story, one of success, one of abundance, one of healing and love. Amen. And so it is. Ooh, yes, this feels so good. I'm so excited tonight. Can you tell my energy level is like boosted? It's picking up. Okay. So go ahead, and I want you to close your eyes. And I'm going to stop my video so that you're not distracted trying to look at me. So go ahead and get comfortable and close your eyes. And right now we are just going to breathe. So I want you to take a slow, deep breath in, and then exhale out of your mouth. Know that as you continue to breathe in, you are breathing in love, peace, joy, bliss, and abundance. And as you exhale, you're releasing fear, worry, stress, overwhelm. Breathe in love and exhale worry. Continue to breathe in safety and protection, and release stress and fear. Now, continue to breathe. Just go at your own pace, what feels comfortable for you. And just continue to breathe. Now, I want you to think about your story. Know that you are safe as we move together through this journey in the sacred circle. I want you to see your story as an object, something that you can hold in your hand. It might be a broken picture frame, a picture of a place, a word, a stick figure, a book, a toy, or whatever you envision. Maybe it's the size of a place, just small enough that it fits in your hand, or it could be you during that period of your life. So maybe it's just an image of you that you're holding in your hand. And continue to breathe. Now you can see this representation of your story in your hand, or maybe it's on your body. You can feel the weight of it. You can feel its energy in your hand. It probably feels heavy. It's heavy, feels uncomfortable. It's kind of sad. Just feel that energy and direct all of your feelings and all of your thoughts about that story into this object. You want to pour into it. So as you breathe, you're breathing in love. You're breathing in healing. And as you exhale, I want you to see your breath exhaling all of that story, all of its remnants into that object that you're now holding in your hand. Now I want you to begin to pull on it so that you separate it from yourself. You maybe need scissors or a sacred sword, or maybe you need to call in divine assistance from God, the angels, your ancestors, or whatever the equivalent in your faith is that can support you in lifting this story away from you. Continue to breathe. See yourself surrounded by love and support. As you see this story, this object being lifted away, you feel yourself becoming lighter, happier, and freer as you now willingly release this story. Continue breathing. Now that this old story is separated from you, it's no longer part of you, I want you to see it enclosed inside a bubble. Maybe your bubble is white to purify that story. Or maybe it's enclosed in a black bubble to shield you from its energy. Or maybe it's pink. as you lovingly release the story. Now that the story is safely removed and enclosed in a bubble, it's time to send it away. And continue to breathe. How do you want to send your story away? Maybe you bury it into Mama Earth so she can absorb that story and transmute its energy. Maybe you place it in the ocean for the healing waves to wash it away. Or you give it to an angel and you watch the angel fly away to the heavens, taking that story away for all eternity. Or perhaps you blow your bubble away and it floats into the sky, disappearing into the light of the sun. Or maybe you kick it far into the abyss, or send it soaring with the swing of a bat. Feel your power restoring as you lovingly release this story from your heart, from your mind, and your energy. And continue breathing. You may find that you start to yawn. You may feel a little tired because you just released big energy. Continue breathing in and breathing out. And as you're breathing, you are restoring your power and your energy. Continue breathing. And when you are ready, I want you to start to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and slowly start to move your body, returning to the present moment. Take your time, and when you are ready, go ahead and open your eyes, returning to the present moment. All right, Mama, welcome back. Yay! So I want to know, how was your experience? But there's still a little bit of work to do. So what I want you to do is come up with a power statement or an affirmation to fill up the space that we just created for your new story. That is right. So if your old story was I am not enough, your affirmation could be as simple as I am enough. So take some time, write down your affirmation. If you need help, you can unmute yourself or post in the comments, and I'll be happy to help you come up with your own affirmation or power statement. And a power statement could be, I know that I am enough. I move forward in life knowing that I am enough just as I am. You can come up with a phrase or a word that evokes a deep feeling of love, and it reminds you of the new story that you are creating for yourself. Now, you're not just going to write this affirmation down and then go on about your life like it never happened. I want you to recite this affirmation, to write it, to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am enough. I am healed. I am so grateful for where I am in my life right now today. Recite it, believe it, feel it. Know that you are shifting your energy and you're creating a new story for yourself. Now, yes, we release old story, but it may try to revisit you. And when it does, be mindful and aware. So when it starts to creep up, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. And you can ask the angels, you can ask God, you can ask your ancestors to take that story away again and again and again until your mind catches up with what your spirit, what your soul already knows. Energetically, spiritually, you've already released it. We just have to get our mind up to speed. Say, remember, we release that mind because the mind likes to try to hold on to stuff. So we have to continue to feed it with new things. Another way to do that is to read books. So if you were struggling with self-esteem or self-love, read books that help you learn how to build up your self-esteem or your confidence and how to embrace self-love. So you want to fill your mind with things that support the new story you are telling yourself. You can even watch movies or TV shows that support that, or maybe they have a character who's really confident and you're like, man, I want to embody their confidence. And so your intention as you watch that show is to embody confidence. You can also practice being confident. So those are just some different ways that you can really start to integrate a new story into your being. So this was a very powerful, powerful, powerful session. I'm so excited that you took part in this with me and our first of many, many, many healing circles. On the next circle, which is in November, I'm going to be talking about releasing attitudes and really stepping into gratitude. I see a lot of people struggle with that. And it can be very easy to stay in that place where you're not able to fully grasp being grateful for certain things. So we're going to kind of talk about that, how to shift out of the attitude and really step into gratitude. We can continue this conversation inside of the Healing Single Mothers community. And I will include the link for you in the description. That is where this replay will live. So you can come back to it at any time. If you feel that old story creeping up, go back through the exercise and revisit it. I might even, let's keep this conversation going, talking about, there's also an activity that kind of helps you go through getting clarity on what you want for yourself. That's another way that you can really help to rewrite your story and start telling yourself a new story. It's by getting clear on the future you. Who is that? What does she do? And how is she? So that's another thing that you can do. I am so grateful, so grateful, so grateful to have connected with you tonight here inside of the Healing Single Mothers Healing Circle. There's a lot of amazing things that are coming up. If you are on my mailing list, you will get first dibs on anything that's going on. So make sure you stay connected. You can follow me on Instagram, Healing Single Mothers, and I will see you again next month. This is where you need to be for the next New Moon Healing Circle. Mama, I love you. I adore you. You are appreciated. You are enough. You are worthy. You are deserving. And I want to see you living abundantly ever after. Thanks again for joining, and I will see you again soon. Peace. Good night, everyone.